Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Friday, TJIF. I can't even believe another week's gone by. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's been a busy one. There's a lot been going on this week, which is kind of exciting. A lot of it has to do with SpaceX. I was going to get into some Linux stuff this week, but there was so much going on, I couldn't help covering it. There was a lot. And maybe we'll talk about that tonight, or a little bit of it. So it's going to be a relaxed day today, a relaxed night, the usual free speech Friday type of thing. But I just want to say, are you guys excited for next week? IFT 11. I am stoked. We've been waiting for this for a little while, not that long compared to the last time, right? But this is going to be the very last of the Block 2s. That's it. Then we're going to move into the Block 3s with the new Raptor engines, Raptor 3. I'm just excited. There's so many good things that are happening with Starship. I am excited. This is really, really good. Anyways, before I start blabbering on and on, let me see who is here. If you just got here, thank you for being here. Friday night, time to just chill out, relax. Mark is in the house. Happy Friday, Mark says. Happy Friday to you. Thank you for being here. Low Tech Greg. On time for once. Don't be late. Brewing tea, Mark says. No, actually, I just have some water today. I need to get some water in me. I haven't drank a lot. Went to see the doctor. Doctor's like, you need to go into this cup. And I remember the woman's like, have you been drinking a lot? I'm like, oh yeah, I've been drinking. And she's like, no, you're right. I haven't. I need to drink more, right? I need to drink more. It's important. Anyways, Dutch Linux, how you doing? How are you doing? Ricky Joe is in the house. Fragile is here. Good evening. Good evening. Let's see. Chris is here. Ready for another Friday evening? Absolutely. I am ready for it. Let's see. Low Tech Greg says, do you think we'll get a quote, I'm becoming space trash destroyer of I like that, of Sats, quote from Elon. That wouldn't be too bad. I would like to see that. That'd be kind of neat. I don't know. Elon always comes up with something. I mean, I enjoyed when he ended up throwing those bananas on the on that one flight. Remember that? I don't forget what it was, IFT 6 or something. 5, maybe 5. I don't know. And he had like the bananas in there. I like that kind of stuff. He does kind of fun stuff like that, It's just cool. It's cool. When you don't have to take everything seriously just because you're a rocket scientist, right? I don't know. Let's see. The Y is solar activity. And it is not reached its peak yet. Yeah, solar activity is kind of crazy. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. All right, let me switch over. See this? So this is running again. You see over there in the upper right-hand corner, it says storm, high risk. Solar activity is currently at like a 7.7. Now it just dropped a little bit. You see how it's in the red for long periods of time? I told you guys when I first came up with this thing, if you guys don't know and you're new here, what you're seeing on the screen is the JCLive space station. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's in beta right now, so it's been up and down, and I'll tell you a little bit about that tonight, why it has been off for the last couple of days. But I wrote this code. I put this together for you guys, and I wanted to leave it here 24/7. So if you want to hang out, you could always go here. You can play this in the background. You can sleep to it. The music is like that, so that you can literally sleep to it. It gives you like next rocket launchers. You can see Kuiper just launched their last, Kuiper 3. So this is the third time they've launched Project Kuiper satellite, which is nice. Then you have breaking news in the lower left. In the center, you have about 6 or 7 launches, and then with an explanation of what the launch is, that's coming there. Then you have galactic time. You have your time, GMST, which would be galactic time, and then you have your different time zones, Eastern, Central, Standard, and so on and so forth. Anyways, and then you have on the right-hand side, you have solar weather. A lot of people love this solar weather report. I wrote this script to basically take the KP index and your solar density, your X-ray flux, as well as your proton flux, And I put it through an algorithm and come up with a warning. So right now it says quiet. You'll see it fluctuate because this is real-time data. It'll say, it'll be like moderate, and then all of a sudden it'll be high risk, and then back to quiet, and then moderate, high risk, and quiet. When you see it red, blinking red, for an extended period of time, and we've been seeing that lately, that is because we're getting hit with these solar winds. And the satellites don't like that. So you can watch that. If you're a ham radio operator, if you're watching that too, you'll know what it looks like, if you're going to have a good signal or not. Bottom right-hand corner down there, you'll see Starbase. I also have Vandenberg as well as Starbase, as well as Cape Canaveral. So we have all three bases, and then I have a weather report, and then I have a launch probability. It says launch right now, 85% at Cape Canaveral. And once again, I have an algorithm running for that, and I'm calculating winds to gusts to clouds to rain, visibility, lightning, and all the rest of this stuff. So for the launch, I believe on the 3rd, we'll see on Monday if it happens or not. Depends on the weather. Weather's been kind of crazy lately, but I'm going to look down there all the time. I'm going to see what the weather looks like and if there's a probability of Starship launching or not. If we see some really bad weather roll in, I'll know about it because we'll be able to see the screen. Anyways, dead center, you'll see every one of those dots floating around that globe is a Starlink satellite. Those are actual Starlink satellites that are orbiting around the planet. That's real time, up to the minute. And then, of course, you have some sponsor stuff or ad stuff at the bottom. So this is what it looks like. And I hope you guys enjoy it. It's once again, it's in beta. We're working on the machine. Let me flip back over here. This is the machine. So everything that you just saw is being run on this machine over here, right? This is the Starbase, or I guess Space Base, JCLive Space Base, right here, right? This is it. And I've been having problems. Matter of fact, this card, that's one of the reasons why I pull it out. This is a 1070. This thing crapped the bed, and I didn't know it. And it was really bad. It was just a pain in the ass because it was hard to diagnose what the problem was. That machine I built from scratch for you guys, right? I built it from scratch. And all the parts were new, right? I had 2 pieces of memory. 1 piece of memory went bad. I had in here the PSU, right? The power supply, bad. It's like one thing after another thing. It just amazes me how absolute shit QC or quality control is today. What the hell is going on, guys? What is going on? Are you guys experiencing the same stuff? Buying like new shit and the stuff is like, it might as well be used. You might as well buy it refurb because that's what you're getting. This stuff is just horrible. Anyways, let me get back to saying hello to people. I got off, see, Fab's not here. My wife's not here to kick me. This is what happens. If you guys have a question, put at JCristina, all right? At JCristina. Let me see who else is here. Michael is in the house. Thank you for being here. Michael says there has to be more than 4 out of 32 that are liking the show. Yeah, maybe there's not a lot of people that like the show. I don't know. Hey, if you guys are watching, throw it a thumbs up. If you like it. If you don't like it, throw it a thumbs down. I don't know. People don't realize this, but YouTube actually likes both. Right? They just want interaction. They don't care if people do thumbs ups or thumbs downs. The thumbs ups are really good for my ego. That's about it. Let's see. Who else we got? Debbie. How you doing, Debbie? From Texas. Hello. Honey Badgers in the house. Thank you, Honey Badgers, for being here. We have Tim. Yepers. Dutch Linux. It is Saturday here. Yeah, you're ahead of us. You are ahead of us. We got Trinidad in the house. Henry Young, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Viewing from Starlink. That's awesome. Tim from Missouri, thank you for being here. Peter is here. Thank you, Peter. Wow. How's everything going, Peter? Let me see. Memorable Places is here. Welcome, welcome. Ricky Joe. When I run a ping, what does it mean when the ping stops and says request timeout? Basically, at that point, you're no longer getting a connection to wherever you're going. It could have to do with the server. It could have to do with you. It could have to do with a a hop, a server in between the server that you're trying to get to, a ping or latency. Just think of it as playing ping pong, right? Do you remember the old game, the old arcade game where you go ping pong, ping, and you have like that ball going back and forth? That's kind of what latency is. That's kind of what the ping is. Ping is basically the amount of time it takes for a request. Hey, I'm here. For the server to say thanks and send that packet back. It's basically a send. It's like an acknowledge packet. So you got to send and receive and acknowledge packet. And if there's a problem with it, then they have to send the send and the acknowledge that everything's A-OK again. So it's the amount of time going back and forth. All right. So if all of a sudden it stops and it's like, hey, request timeout, once again, you have a server going down, something is not connecting anymore. Usually before you see request timeout, all of a sudden you'll see like your requests start going up. So let's say you have 30 milliseconds, all of a sudden it becomes 60 and 100 and then 1,000, 2,000, and all of a sudden it's like request timeout. That's one way. Some are just simple on-offs. Anyways, hope that helps. Valio, how are you doing? Good Saturday morning. Thank you for being here from Estonia. Awesome. I love that. Estonia. Beautiful, beautiful place, right? Beautiful. Got to have banana for scale. Absolutely. That is from Low-Tech Greg. Let's see. Claudio Bruna. Hola from Chile. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. John K. Wolf is in the house. Where are you getting your information on the web? Yes. The information, I guess you're asking the question about the space station, this thing right here. If you're asking me about the space station, this data is being scraped from like NASA, from all different locations. And then I take the actual scrape data that is real time, and then I run it through an algorithm that I write, and then that algorithm puts out whatever I'm trying to do, you know, whatever is going on here. So basically you have like CSS code written, you have HTML, and of course you have some JavaScript and this kind of crap. All right, so that's what's going on there. If that's what you're asking me. If not, re-ask the question. Let me see. Michael said, I didn't think any weather changed fast than mine until I saw the solar threat. Yeah, because that solar threat, like I said, watch the KP index. I mean, you can watch proton flux as well as X-ray flux, and you can also watch solar density, like the winds and stuff. But look at the KP index. That's really going to tell you a lot. Once that KP index hits like 6 plus, I've seen it like 9 plus. That's when you're really getting bombarded with some serious solar issues. So, but yeah, watch that. Right now it's quiet, so you can take a look at that. And I'll put that back on every once in a while we're talking here. Let's see. Dashalane says, what code language are you using? So this is Java, HTML, CSS, this type of stuff. There is also some Python in there, and then of course there's just some standard code that I use for writing stuff that is going like Perl scripts, for some backend stuff, for updates and whatnot, using cron, if you know what cron is, to be able to get things to happen in a specific time. So we have like 5-minute intervals for it to like pull like a new breaking news list. If you look at the breaking news, you'll see there's probably about 30 plus breaking news items that are constantly going through. So that's kind of how it is. So there's a bunch of different code going on there. The space station view was running on my old Mac, running on Linux until you came live with current broadcast. Really? So that must mean that it probably took you over here, because there should be 2 live broadcasts if you go to the station, if you go to the channel right now. Matter of fact, I will do it just to see. So if you go to youtube.com, JCristina, and then once you're there, click on live, okay? And you'll see that there is a JCLive, destroyed SpaceX, Starlink, DTC, video calling, whatever. That's one live. And then next to that, you'll see another live that's called the JC Space Station 24/7 live space start, whatever. So there's 2 lives going on. So yeah, you can actually watch both of them. You can watch only one at a time, however you want to do it. But they're both currently going through the same location. Here, once again, this is controlling the space station. And then this machine here, this is Linux. Actually, this is Linux Mint 22.2. And this setup here, 34-inch here and a 27-inch here, this whole deal is, once again, Linux Mint 22.2 also. And they're both running on OBS Studio version, I don't know. Anyways, that's some back end of what's going on behind the scenes here. Let's see, what else we got here? Moving on, bananas for scale, love it. Okay, yo peeps, that's from Ron. How you doing, Ron? Thank you for being here. Let's see, Buster and Phil's. Damn, Jay. Are you talking flux capacitor now? I am. It is the flux capacitor. Let's see, Rusty, I like that. Rusty Woodpecker says, hi, JC. What do you think about Elon's Tesla mobile phone coming out early next year? Would you trust it? The only thing I can tell you is don't believe everything that you see and hear and read about Elon Musk's Tesla phone, because it doesn't exist and he's not going to make it unless he absolutely has to. And he's made this perfectly clear on multiple occasions. So just bear that in mind. You have to take everything that you see on YouTube today with a grain of salt. There's a lot of just AI complete shit going on. These faceless channels with all kinds of just nonsense. And they look believable. You just have to be careful with them because the data is just it's not true. Anyways, there's no phone as of yet. When I hear of a phone, trust me, you'll hear it first here. Because I'll be all over that shit. I will buy 3, actually. I've said that from the beginning. But he's not doing it. And just so you guys know, if he ever does do it, I don't know, does do it. If he ever does, it will be running, not on Linux. It's going to be running on a version of Linux, but it's going to be the same type of Linux build that they use on the Tesla cars, all right? Which is a very highly modified version of Linux, the kernel. That's amazing. Okay, really, my understanding, quick, to the point, does what it needs to do, and doesn't crash. Well, obviously, or the cars would be crashing. Yeah. Could you imagine running a Tesla car, like auto drive, from like California to New York with Windows? You get like one blue screen of death and someone's like over a freaking cliff. No. Yeah, so that's why a lot of people use Linux for that type of stuff. You know, if you need something mission critical done, you need Linux. You know, you're not going to use Windows or some other bullshit. So, anyways, let's see. Moving on. Let's see. Michael, he's talking over here. Buster, true that. All right, moving down. Once again, if you have a question, at JCristina. Makes it easy to see. Jim Sims, thank you for being here, Jim. I'm glad you fixed the space station. Yeah, is it fixed? I don't know. So far, it's been running for like 20 some hours straight. It hasn't died. Like I was saying before, this was one of the issues. This is an amazing MSI G4. It's the 1070. And this is badass. This was a really good card. I've used it for a long time, but it shit the bed. That's just it. And I think when it did, it actually took out my PSU, my power supply, or my power supply took this out. One or the other. I don't know what it is, but I ended up replacing the power supply and then plugging in a new graphics card. I picked up a Gigabyte 1660, all right? And I plugged that in and everything worked. And then I plugged this in. I'm like, okay, well, let me put my old card back in. I plugged this thing in, and as soon as I booted it up, it said, oh, you probably need to plug the power into it. And the power's plugged in, right? You probably need to plug the power into it. So it's screwed. So like I said, I don't know if it took out the PSU, the power supply, or if the power supply took out this, but someone took out someone, and now this is dead. So, and I have a new power supply in there. And I have a new stick of memory. And I have the new video board. So, yeah, This thing has costed me a lot of money to put this thing together for you guys. Some guy gave me some shit today, like saying that this was like an AI channel or something and it's not real or whatever. And I had to give him crap. I'm like, I put like nearly $2,000 into this thing and I have probably like 100 hours of coding and shit into it. What are you talking about? It's not AI. This is, I wrote it. I put this shit together. What are you talking about? But that's what people do. And I understand that because like I said, you have to be very leery. You see stuff like this and you're like, oh, I don't know. Someone just like threw this like little screensaver up because they don't really know what's going on here. They don't realize all of the nuance to it. You being space people, when you look at it, you're like, holy shit. Project Kuiper launched yesterday. That's cool. And now where it says next launch, you'll see most likely tomorrow, it'll tell you T minus X number of hours or days until the next launch. It'll say it there. Same thing with Starship. It'll tell you there. Anyways, you guys appreciate it. Some people don't, but some people don't know and they don't realize. So it kind of is what it is. Peter Madsen says, kick cam. We need a kick cam. I know. There's some kicks from John too. Thank you for that. New stuff is good for a month, then breaks. Why is that? Why do shit break after a month? Clothing, shoes, everything. It's true. Like quality control is gone. What brand PSU? It's a MSI. It's an MSI. Let me see. It's an A650BN MSI. So 650 is what it is. It's good. It's not that it's bad, but like I said, I don't know if this MSI took out the other MSI or the other MSI took out this one, but it's an expensive screw up, whichever it was. I don't know. I don't know Dutch Linux. I don't know. Our GSD rules. Thank you for being here. Good evening. Good evening. Brad is here in the house Saturday morning here in Australia. Thank you for being here. Pilot Brett. DTC in mobile. Can't wait. Yes. DTC is here, guys. It's here. And I did a piece on it about 3 days ago or something, that DTC, if you guys don't know, DTC is direct to cell, where you can use your phone and communicate with the satellite. It started out with SMS, just texting, and then MMS, where you were doing like messages that had images. Then they moved into voice calling, but using like an app like WhatsApp. But what is amazing is WhatsApp not only allows you to text, WhatsApp allows you to send like any type of photo. It also allows you to do any type of phone. Like, so you could like do a VoIP call, a voice over IP call. And this is the big thing. WhatsApp allows you to do video. As a matter of fact, 70% of everything that happens on WhatsApp, if you guys know it or not, is video. But since the WhatsApp is authorized for satellite use, let's call it, you are now able to make satellite video calls through your T-Mobile SpaceX Starlink DTC service. Is that freaking crazy? I was wrong. I thought that this was going to take until next year. I didn't think that they were going to release it this year. I figured first quarter 2026 was probably going to be the time, but it's out. It's out. It's going at like 360p to 480p, so you're not getting a ton. I think each spot is getting I think it's like each phone, I call it a spot. Each phone is getting around, I think, 4 to 10 megabits per second, which is pretty damn good. It's good for a lot of different things, but yeah, that is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. We'll talk some more about DTC. If you have any questions about it, put them in the chat. Shannon gave me a question that people were asking about DTC, which I thought was really interesting. And it was, can astronauts use like their phone and use DTC and make calls back to Earth? I'll give you an answer for that in a minute. Remind me. It's kind of cool. Anyways, let me see who else we got. Roland is in the house from Ontario, Texas. Thank you for being here. George Perez. Hi, JC. How are you doing, George? Buster and Phil said, yep, the space station is the bomb. I'm glad you like it. I do. I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into that damn thing. And I want it to work for you guys. I really want it to work. I want to make sure that I can get it to it. And that's why it's kind of like in beta right now. I want to make sure I can get it so that it is 24/7, 7 days. I don't end up having these problems where stuff is dying. That's why I bought all new parts. Like it matters. I don't even know. Let's see. Peter Madsen says, much better. It has been 2 months without the hospital, so a lot better now. Thank God. Thank God, Peter. That is awesome. So glad that you're feeling better. You know, you had me worried for a little bit there, especially towards the beginning, actually the end of last year. I'm like, damn, what the hell's wrong with Peter? Didn't hear from you for a while. But anyways, blessings, man. Thank you so much for letting us know that you're feeling better now. That's really great. That's really, really great. Night Guy 99 says, Yellowknife, Northwest Territories of Canada. Thank you for being here. Big fan. I appreciate that. Chris is in the house. He has a question. What does Chris say here? If you haven't done it yet, if you haven't done so yet, I would love you to discuss the strange fact that Kuiper is winning bread dollars or bead dollars, yes, rather than Starlink. Yes. So if you guys don't know what the bead dollars is, basically it's like funding, government funding, and it's going to Project Kuiper. As we can see here, if you look on the upper left-hand corner, you see it says next launch. You see that it says mission, Kuiper, KF-03. This is the third launch, okay? Look at the rocket used, third launch. That's a Falcon 9 rocket. And you see it came out of Kennedy. That's right up the road from me, 3 hours north, east of me. And that launched, I think it was yesterday, okay? That was the third rocket launch from Project Kuiper, from Jeff Bezos's project. And I don't know how they're winning any funding. It's Jeff Bezos, okay? I can't even explain anything else more than that, okay? The same thing holds true right now with AST, Space Mobile. I talked about that today, how AST Space Mobile now has like billions of dollars. Their stock is like this. And you have AT&T and you have Verizon decide to go with AST Space Mobile for their DTC or direct to sell connectivity instead of using Elon Musk because they hate Elon, right? So they're going to once again cut off their nose to spite their face with this AST Space Mobile. The thing is there doesn't exist. They're putting billions into something that doesn't exist. By the end of this year, they're supposed to have five satellites on orbit. By the end of 2026, AST Space Mobile is supposed to have 60. By the end of 2026, SpaceX will most likely have about 1,400 DTC satellites. So you have 60 to like 1,400. Now, of course, bear in mind, if you didn't watch, today's video, I talk about the size, the footprint. They're freaking massive. They're nearly 700 square feet in comparison to one SpaceX Starlink unit, which is about 42 square feet. 42 compared to 700. It's massive. Astronomers are going to literally crap themselves when they see one of those AST Space Mobile commercial versions up there at 700 square feet. You'll be able to see it with the damn naked eye. You'll use probably binoculars. I mean, this is massive. And they're going to have 60 of them. I don't even know. I don't even know. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyone that bought AST Space Mobile stock, you guys are doing really good. Congratulations. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it, but we'll see what ends up happening with it. We'll see what ends up happening. Let me try to push through it a little bit quicker. Craig B is in the house. Thank you, from Arizona. Kevin is here. I'm late. No, you're not. You're here. That's it. Never late. Let's see. Moving on. JC. I am JC. Yeah. JS. Yeah. I could use Node.js too. I haven't been using Node.js. I mean, I could use it. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. But yes, it works out great. There's some things that I have problems with it where this is very, Linux, but where OBS doesn't like to talk to it. It's webhooks, the WebSocket just breaks and it does stupid shit. And anyways, That's for a whole nother conversation. But yeah, good stuff. Works great. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of times I'll take a lot of the Java code and I'll write it right into the HTML instead of having the Java separately. It just, for me, it just works out better. But I don't know how you build stuff, but that's how I do it. Anyways, Michael says Perl and Tab Coke. What the hell? Two things I haven't seen in a long time. There you go. Let's see. Moving on. John, anyways, you can make one thing bigger and then you click on it. Oh, there you go. Bummer. Going on. Let me see who else here. DJ Sparky. DJ Sparky. I love watching your videos here from Stockport, UK. Thank you for being here. I'm like 25% English, and it's like I've never been to the UK. I've never been to England. I've never been there. I've been to other places like Europe, but I've never been to England. I don't know, how is it doing over there? The news, when I watch it, it's like things are pretty bad. I mean, like when I watched like another one of my motherlands, which would be Germany, it's just complete shites. It's like a wreck. I look at some places in Italy. I was just in Italy. I was in Sicily, Rome, the Vatican. We're in multiple islands in Mediterranean over there, in Greek islands and whatnot. The Greek islands were pretty good, but portions of Italy were just damn shambles. Like, I don't know what's going on. Graffiti everywhere. It looked like, holy hell. It looked like New York. Anyways, how is it in the UK? Let me know. Let's see. Moving on. If you have any questions, at JCristina, so this stuff pops up. How are you doing, William Welsh? Thanks for being here. So nice to get away from Apple or Android crap. It is. Speed Racer's in the house. Thank you for being here, Speed Racer. Kevin J. It would not work. Windows is crap. It sure as hell is. That's why my Windows, Kevin J, is here. My Windows is here. It's been here for just over a year now. You guys know it if you've been with me. Everything I'm doing is on Linux. That doesn't matter if it's video production, 3D CAD, design. I don't care whatever it is. It's done here on Linux. Let's see. George Perez says, I recently seen something called T-Satellite. That's what DTC is. T-Satellite is what T-Mobile calls their service when there is no service. And that's being able to use your phone with a satellite overhead. When it does give you T-Satellite service, you're actually using SpaceX Starlink from Elon Musk, is what you're doing. They just call it T-Satellite because it's cool. I don't know. It's just stupid. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. Moving on. I used cheap Android crap. Yeah. Speed Racer, thank you so much for that super chat 3 days ago. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Big heart for that. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Love those super chats. Really, really nice. We have Skippy USA. Yeehaw. Got a bunch of cowboys in there. Chad. Can you warranty it? Yes. Yeah. Some of these parts are warranted. This MSI GeForce is 1070 isn't, because I've had it for about 5-6 years. But all the other parts in there, they're going back. A bunch of them are going back because, like I said, I mean, I bought sticks of memory. Bad. Some G-Skill. Bad. The PSU. Bad. It's just like, it's been like one thing after another thing. I don't know. I don't know. It's baffling to me how you get brand new parts, brand new, not refurb, brand new parts, and they're bad. Like what are you doing? What are you doing? What the hell? What is going on with QC? William Welsh in the house. How you doing? Sparky, love watching your stuff. Okay, appreciate that. MSI PSU is your problem. The PSU always uses Seismic. Let me see, with 10-year warranty. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've used MSI in the past, and I haven't had problems with them, but it could be the MSI. And the thing is, too, with this MSI that I'm using, it only has one connector for, it has two connectors for a graphics card, and that's it. So there's not a separate line. So if it was a bad line, I wouldn't be able to test it either. So it's really stupid. Also, the motherboard, since this is a very mini over here, right? That's what I built, a mini. I have to use a small motherboard. I'm using like a Gigabyte B550, like the 550, the MKs. So that's what I'm using for that. And they're small. They only have one graphics card slot in it. That's it. So I couldn't even change the slots to see if I had a bad motherboard. And I ordered in another motherboard. So I got another motherboard around here that I got to return. It's been a time of it. It's been a time of it, guys. Mitch, all together, welcome to Premium Sub. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. WhatsApp, Meta. Yeah, I know. The only problem is like WhatsApp is getting that certification. So there's going to be like Signal. There's going to be other stuff that you can use. But WhatsApp is really good right now because it is certified to be able to be used with satellite, meaning that with WhatsApp, you can send messages, SMS, MMS, you could do voice calling, and you can do video calls right now on DTC. That's pretty cool. And that's only right now with, it will expand. Okay, it will definitely expand, but just not yet. Hang in there. Let's see. Valo says, does DTC work in US only right now, or can I test it work in Estonia? Yeah, so DTC works worldwide. It just needs to be allowed in your country. Like if you're in India, for example, you can't get DTC. You can't even get Starlink. Matter of fact, just so you guys know, I was going to do a report on this week, that they changed laws, I believe it was in India, that if you use the SpaceX Starlink and they catch you using it and they feel that you're using it against the state, against what they want you to know, whatever, the penalty now is death. Death. Like, what the F is that? You're going to get the death sentence for using SpaceX Starlink. Now, when you hear shit like that, just think about the mentale of these people. Think about the control that they want over their people, right? I mean, that's just absolute insanity to me. How would you give someone the death sentence for using SpaceX Starlink? Anyways, so yeah, I was going to report on that because it just bothered me. I'm like, but then I didn't do it. So maybe I will next week. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just skip it. It just pisses me off. Stuff like that is just, it's like free speech that's just gone bad, right? If there's no free speech, then what is there, right? There's no free speech in the U.S. either, is there? We make believe there's free speech here, but I can tell you this. If I say something that Alphabet, Google, or YouTube doesn't like right now, it will process what I'm speaking into written word and then run it through an algorithm. And if there's stuff that I'm saying that it doesn't like, it will know it. It can shut down the channel. It could shut down the account. It can shut down the stream. It can do all kinds of stuff. So while we think that we're free to say whatever we want, we're really not. We can to a point, and then you have to walk on eggshells and hope not to crack them. That's here. But in other countries, it's even worse. So when people think that we're completely free here to say whatever the hell we want, it's not really the case. It is the case to a certain point. Yeah. Anyways, for a whole another discussion. Sal is in the house. How you doing, Sal? Sal the trucker out of California. How are you doing? Love DTC, watching rocket launches. Yeah, DTC it would be great. DTC is great for truck drivers. Also, SpaceX Starlink Mini is great. If you have a truck, you're driving cross country or whatever you're doing, throw a Mini on the roof of your truck and you will never ever have to worry about connection again. Trust me. It's $165 a month. It's not cheap, unlimited, but instead of the dish being like $5.99 or $4.99, it's $2.99 right now. $299. Not bad at all. Check into that. Any truck driver, they should check into it for sure. Let me see. Moving down, Mitch altogether. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, I emailed you today about Starlink. Send me a free mini kit. What? They sent you a free mini kit? Really? I'll have to read it. I didn't get to any of my email today because I was working on this bad boy at the beginning of the day, and then I did my video, and then I was working on some other projects. So I'll get into the email tomorrow. Thank you so much for that, Mitch. I'll take a look at that. Hardcore weather. Can you explain Starlink hitting old customers with huge discounts, 50%, 75% off per month for 2 years? I didn't know that that was the case. They have been doing some stuff, whereas if you don't use your dish for a certain amount of time and it goes like dormant, they will bring you on board for an extended period of time at a very low rate to kind of bring you like back to the family, so to speak. So maybe that's what you're talking about. But yeah, they have some... Trust me, watch for end of year sales. There's going to be a lot. Just so you guys know, I have a feeling, all right? I have a feeling that the SpaceX Starlink Mini version 2 is not that long, let's say, in the future. I think it's going to be coming out soon. I think the price drop to $299 is going to hold, or it'll be pretty close to that. If we see that price hold at $299 for an extended period of time, not just for a month, there's a new one coming. And I feel that we're getting really close. And the reason we're getting close is because, remember, there's new spectrum going on. They know that the new satellites are going to be up there very soon, the version 3s. They've already tested sending out those SpaceX Starlink duds, and those duds are going out there without a problem. So they're very close to that. So now they need to start making updates to the dish now, so they're already prepared. So when they launch those things, they can immediately start using the added niceties to the version 3 Starlink satellites. So bear that in mind. There might be a new Mini in the house by the end of this year. We will see. Question from Peter. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. No, don't thank me, man. I appreciate you being around for as long as you have, and I'm so glad that you're well. Let's see. Anyone catch the Bozos Carnival ride? Yeah, I know. Boring, 6. Yeah, it happens every time. I don't even watch those things, honestly. I covered 1 or 2 of them, and it's just I couldn't do it. I'm like, I'm brain dead here. I can't do it. Shannon is in the house with 20 free gifted memberships. So if you got a free membership from Shannon, please say thank you, Shannon. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. That helps out a lot. Shannon's the bomb, Peter says. Benton, Middleton, thank you for being here. I dropped in for a bit. I'm glad you're here. Another lonely night in Kentucky. Kentucky's supposed to have some good weather coming in there, right? Isn't it starting to cool down a little bit? You think Starlink is going to reach 1 gigabit per second? This is from Network's speed test. Absolutely. They could do a gigabit now already. On the ocean, I've seen like 600 meg, and that's with these current satellites, which are the Mini 2s. So the version 2 minis. So yeah, the version 3s will definitely be gigabit. They'll start out commercial gigabit, and then they'll probably trickle down. So can they do gigabit? 100%. Absolutely. They could actually do faster than gigabit. Remember, these satellites are coming down. They were at 550 kilometers, 530, whatever. Now they're coming into the 300s. They're dropping down 200 kilometers. As you get closer to Earth, a couple of things happen. Number one, your latency gets better, lower latency. Also, what happens is your speeds get faster, right? Faster upload speed, faster download speed. On the negative side, as they're closer, that means that the beam is tighter, not as wide. That means you need more satellites. They don't have a problem with that because they got satellites a ton. What is it, like 8,500 satellites now? So the beam gets tighter because it's closer. The other negative is you experience more atmospheric drag, meaning that those satellites are going to experience a lot more pull due to the, let's say, little molecules in the air, let's call it, right? Atmospheric drag is a real thing. It affects them a lot. The other thing that affects them is like solar storms, solar wind or whatever. It's constantly pushing on them. It depends if we're getting hit really badly or not. There's some other things. You also get lunar that kind of pulls here and there, but that's usually for those upper satellites starting at like 36 1,000 kilometers compared to like 300 kilometers. But the main thing is that atmospheric drag. And as you get closer, like I said, you need more propellant, more propulsion to keep it up at that specific altitude, let's say 320 kilometers. So their lifespan, their EOL, end of life, is a lot shorter than something that's sitting higher, okay? So that's the negative side to it. But there's a lot of positives, and since that they can turn these things, turn and burn them so quick, they don't care. Currently, SpaceX Starlink is losing approximately 1 to 2 Starlink satellites per day. 1 to 2 Starlink satellites per day are burning up. That's how it is. So do they care? No, because they're replacing them like crazy. I think it was like this last week or whatever, they launched like 3 or 4 launches. Each launch had anywhere between 23 and 28 Starlink satellites on board. So you're getting close to 100, 80, let's even call it 100 satellites in a month's time, right? So if you lose even 2 per day, what do you got? 60? And you're putting 100 up there. So you're constantly still growing. You're growing, you're growing. And then once the Starship actually is able to launch out the big monstrosities at scale, when they're launching not like 20 some of them, they're launching 100 plus of them at a time, well, there's no more question. They don't need to worry about it anymore. So yes, the answer to that network speed test is yes. Gigabit is right around the corner. From Cuba, great videos of yours. Thank you. Appreciate that. Marcello, thanks for being here. Steve Palmer, how are you doing? Love London. Been there many times in the 90s and 2000s, New Year's, but heard it went downhill since. I've heard the same thing. Question from Peter. Denmark meetup? That'd be awesome. I would love to have a Denmark meetup. How am I going to get there, though? Everything's so damn expensive. It can't even like fly anywhere these days. My wife just got off the plane last night before. I had to go pick her up in the rain. And let me tell you, like, it's hard to get flights. Flights are no longer like you start here and you end up here. No, they're like bus services. You get on a flight and you go from here to here to here. You pick up 4 guys over there. You drop them off over here. And then you come back over here. It's just a wreck. There's everything is like 1 or 2 or 3 stops. I saw some flights that literally take you into the next day. Like, what the frickin', where am I going? It's just stupid. Anyways, so yeah, if there was any way for me to get to Denmark, I would love to bring Fabiola and hang out in Denmark for a couple of weeks. That would just be freaking awesome. Do some lives from Denmark with like a SpaceX Starlink mini. I don't know, like on a hillside somewhere. Oh man, Peter, make it happen. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. Rick is in the house. Thank you for being here. Great to see you. Doing a great job as usual. Keep up the great information content. Thank you for that, Rick. So glad you're here. Ricky Joe says, I'm watching you on Starlink on my phone. That's awesome. And doing tests on my AT&T Internet Air. Sweet. Get it. You get it. 60 and then 90 and 200. It is what it is. You know. AT&T is a scam. Sure damn is. What is this? Dutch Linux says MSI is shit. Gamers Nexus calls them out big time in the open and took them to court and everything, the lies and warranty and all the rest of the stuff. You know what? If you think I should pick up another PSU and get rid of this MSI, I'll do it. I don't care. Because I want this thing, like I said, you know, I want this thing to be there working. Let me switch over here. I want this working 24/7. I don't want it to go down. So, I mean, I don't know. If the MSI PSUs, their power supplies are not great, maybe I'll ditch it. I'll chuck it. I don't know. Here, let's throw this on for a little bit. You can take a look at that. Let me see. Moving on. DJ Sparky 2008 says, it's not going well in the UK. Government is destroying our UK heritage. God damn. I knew it. We have Starlink in my house as off-grid service as we keep getting told we could expect power outages, so not that great. Yeah, I've been hearing bad things coming out of the UK. I mean, I hate you saying that, yes, that's happening, you being there. That's just a shame. It's a shame. There's such stuff going on in this world that's a shame. It's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Chad, thank you for being here. Retracted your message, but that's okay. What did you say in here? That's crazy, Chad? Yes. Let me see. Moving down. BBQ, farming, and more. It could have very well happened here in the last election. Did not go the way it did. Well, yeah, pretty much. Who knows? Things are getting bad everywhere. And like I said, when I was in the Vatican, just like last month or so, we were in Rome, and then we went to Greece, and we went to, all through. Anyways, I was really put aback to see the amount of graffiti, the amount of trash, the amount of shit throughout the city. Some of these structures are literally like 1,000 years old, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and then they're like being tagged, freaking spray painted. I remember I told one of the guys, I'm like, listen, what I would do is I would give a 6 months PSA, public service announcement, on radio and TV that basically says if you tag any of our buildings, all right, you will lose one finger and you will be sent to clean for 6 months. Okay? Clean for 6 months and you will lose one finger. And that's just it. And this would be so it can't be sprung out on people. This would be a 6 month ad campaign, right? So everyone is warned. There's no question. I can tell you right now, Rome would be tag free really quick. I know that sounds harsh and stuff, but some of these freaking retards, they only understand stuff like that. And if they lose a finger and you see a couple of them wandering around with one finger missing and they're cleaning with the other hand, okay, these tags, you know the person, right? And they never forget that the rest of their life. They're marked, okay? And no one wants that unless they're really deranged. And at that point, they probably should bring back asylums. I've said that many times too. So bring back asylums. I'm going to make a hat. Should we do a hat? Let's do a hat, guys. Bring back asylums. Down below, what do you think? Am I just completely off the mark? I could be. Maybe I'm too harsh. I'm just too harsh. I don't know. Let's see. Mitch, thank you for being here. Speed Racer is in the house. Thank you once again for being here, Speed Racer. William Welsh is here. Fall in line or you're closed down. That's exactly right. That's exactly how it is. Fall in line or you close down. Dutch Linux. In the Netherlands, we can say what we want to say, but not here on YouTube or on any social site online. There is no free speech. So there you go. So if you're out and about, you can say whatever the hell you want to say, but as soon as you say it online, it's a no-no. I don't know. Mark says October 11th and 12th, Falcon 9, Project Kuiper. Yes, that's exactly right. Yep. That went off. That you can probably see it right now, right? Yeah, you see that in the upper left-hand corner, right above my my fat head. Yeah, that's the launch. And by tomorrow, there'll be a new launch in there. It'll tell you what's going on. And if you want to know what's going to be in that block, if you look at that scroller there, you see how there's like something coming up and they'll give you like October 14th or whatever. It'll tell you what it is. You'll know exactly what it is just by watching that. But then it'll show up in there and it'll give you a T-minus and a countdown. So check that out. Brenton, thank you for being here. Middleton, I refuse to use MSI. About 20 years ago, I learned to build PCs from scratch. I bought a new motherboard from them. Had problems with it, and their customer service refused to help or refund. Yes. All right, guys, you're convincing me. I'm going to get rid of this MSI, and I'm going to put a different. I'll put a different PSU in it. I'll put a new power supply in it. If you guys think that it's complete shit, I'm going to take your word on it. Okay? I'm going to get rid of it because I don't want problems. Like I said, I want this thing that you see here, I want this thing working so that if you guys want to hang out with each other when I'm not around, you can come here and literally chat. That's the whole idea. If you want to put this up on your screen, like at night, fall asleep to it, you could do that too. There's no percussion anywhere on it. It's all very deep space sounding. And there's a ton of information here. And it's constantly updating. You could sit there and watch the breaking news all day long. You're going to get constant new breaking news items that are going on. You can watch the solar weather. Right now, we're beating at 7.2 kp. Photon flux and X-ray are screwed. Look at that. 9.0. I haven't seen a KP index of 9.0 in a long time. It's 9.0 right now, guys. That is high. And you see how it's going for an extended period of time? That's when you know we're getting hit pretty hard. Normally, you see now it's just elevated. It went down to 5.9. When you see it really sitting there in red for a long period of time, that's when the satellites are getting, let's call it damaged. They're being, let's say, adversely affected by the solar winds, let's call it. It's actually radiation. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. It's not going well in the UK. This is from DJ. Government is destroying the heritage. Yes, we got that already. Free speech is a problem in Europe. They can't control rights now. No Starlink connection in Estonia. At least I have it. We'll stay with X and Starlink. Hopefully DTC can keep free speech available. Yeah, that's true. If you can get DTC in a country even that does not allow you to have Starlink, I don't think they would like it, guys. I don't think they would like it. But who knows? Maybe that's something that can be done. William, like or hate, subscribe. I like that. Like, hate, or subscribe. I'm going to make a shirt. I like that. Like, hate, or subscribe. Thanks, William. Let's see. Moving on. Rick is in the house. Yeah, the weather in Kentucky is cooler. 53 degrees. Yes, Kentucky is definitely dropping down now. Sweet. How goes it with the Starship? Any updates? As far as I understand, the Starship is doing good, and we're on track for, I think it's a launch on Monday. I don't bet on it because the weather lately has just been complete ass. I mean, it's just a wreck. And it's been traveling over like Texas and Florida. Florida's been just swamped. It's just been a mess. So we'll keep you updated. Think about hanging out with me on Monday. I just don't know, how are they going to do it? Are they going to do it an early? Are they going to do a late? Are they going to do an afternoon? It's really going to depend on the weather. The weather is a thing this time of year. It's a thing. So we will see. But if all goes well, we will see a IFT-11 launch. That's with like the very last Block 2 Starship, Super Heavy. They will not catch this thing. They will bury it. They will twist it. They will turn it. They will really beat the shit out of it. So don't expect a catch, a chopstick with the Mechazilla. Don't expect that for the Starship, the IFT-11. They're not going to do it. They're going to want to get as much data out of this thing as they can. So they'll probably belly flop the hell out of this thing to really just get it to slow down maximum, just using as it's coming through, and using those fins, the flaps, right? And hopefully not melt them. So they're going to be doing a lot of that, just intense stuff. Most likely they'll have a bunch of different heat tiles on there, and they probably will also have removed or changed, excuse me, those metallic tiles. Remember the metallic tiles that turned the whole underbelly copper, which was kind of pretty. I kind of liked it. But yeah, they probably changed that. So we'll see what ends up happening. All right. I'm excited for this, guys. Are you excited for IFT-11? I love these things. I mean, a Starship launch, it's amazing. Eduardo, thank you for being here. Starlink uploads are getting better. Yes, they are. Let's see. Steve Snake, the PSU is the best safe bet. A bit more expensive, of course. Yeah, they're always a bit more expensive. Give 10-year warranty. Yeah, you know, we'll look into it. I'll see. I'll see what I can find over there on Amazon. Maybe I'll just do a switch. I'll switch them out because they have 30 days on a lot of this stuff anyways, and there's no reason to keep something. I mean, this is working, okay? But for how long, I don't know. The other one died. That doesn't bode well. All right? So stupid. Like I said, that other one might have killed this, which is it's an expensive card, and now it doesn't work. So yeah, kind of sucks. That's a decent 1070 that could have been used for other projects instead of being. I'm gonna throw it in the back, probably in the background. Maybe I'll nail it into the wall or something. I don't know. Let's see. Just coming in late. Hey Mick, thank you for being here. Late doesn't matter. It's all good. There's no late. Solar activity would impact launches too, I would think. Solar activity would not really impact launches. It'll impact the release of Starlink satellites for sure. So this happened once before where they tried releasing like 20-some SpaceX Starlink satellites, and we were getting hit with a pretty decent solar storm. So instead of it saying quiet like it is, like right now, up here, I guess, like over there, right, where it says solar weather report, that right there would be on red, like continuously for 10, 20 minutes straight. So when they launched, those satellites came out, and instead of allowing or having the propulsion, the thrust to be able to pull them from like 200 kilometers up into an operational altitude, they could not push through the pressure of that solar storm. So yeah, for a launch, you're just launching like a starship or something like that. It's fine. Solar storm is fine. But when you're doing something delicate like a satellite, that the propulsion system is very lightweight, let's call it. It's not a lot to it. Yeah. Solar storms are very, very, very bad. And matter of fact, I think it was like all but 3 of the satellites ended up not making it into orbit and ended up burning up, like firework display, basically. So that did happen, I think, a couple of years back or something. So yeah. Let's see. Texas is trapped under a high pressure system for a while. So it will probably depend on tropical stuff. Yeah, tropical stuff is always an issue. It's hurricane season coming now. We end up with crazy tropics, crazy Gulf of Mexico, crazy weather. So we'll see. Yeah. Hopefully everything is good for Monday launch. Looking forward to it for sure. Ricky Joe says, is it possible an ISP can throttle upload speeds, or would the upload speed from AIA drop randomly from 20 down to 10? So yes, remember when you're doing speed tests, you're doing a test from your computer to a server, okay? Well, if this server has like latency issues, right? Maybe it's inundated, okay? And they have a fiber channel that's gone out, and now you're sitting on like a backup or something, right? So you got to slow down, okay? Or maybe the server you're trying to get to is fast and it has no problems at all. But the hops, right? Let's say the 3 other servers you have to get to hop to that server, one of those has a problem. Now all of a sudden you get slow speeds, higher latency, whatever the case might be. So remember, doing speed tests all the time is okay, but don't get too crazy. Don't get too deep in the mud with it, because it's constantly ever changing and you never know exactly why there's a problem. You don't know if it's your ISP that's kind of like screwing with you. You don't know if it's on your side. You don't know if it's on the server side. You don't know if it's on one of the servers in between the server you're getting to. So just bear that in mind, okay? Do a lot of means, do a lot of averages whenever you're doing speed tests. Don't look at specific ones. If not, you'll just go crazy. Matter of fact, it's time to do a speed test. I've been doing this lately every single live because people gave me shit for so long saying that, oh, your speeds are not the same speeds that I'm getting and you're faking them. You're making the number. Just shut up. Just shut up. You know, people are just so stupid sometimes, but you know what? So this is what I do. I've been doing this now for a couple of, I think it was 3. I'll come into here, right? Speed test. And I'll do a speed test so that you guys can actually see it. And we're going to test. This is connected right now to the Starlink. So here we go. Let's see what we get. All right. Let's see what we get. We got 28 milliseconds. That's not great, but it's okay. We got 200 megs down currently, right? 165, 130, 140. It's kind of slow. Yesterday I had about 300 and something. I think it was 367, the fastest I've seen ever since beta, literally 4 years now or something. So here we go. What do we got? We got 150 by 25, okay? And we got a 28 millisecond latency, ping. I call it ping. So I'm going to put it down and we're going to do one more test and you'll see, Ricky Joe, you'll see how this will be completely different. We'll have a different satellite. Everything will be different, okay? So we'll try it again in just a minute. If you have a question, put at JCristina so it's easier for me to find. Dutchlinda says, yes, I had an MSI PSU and it killed my motherboard and SSD and GPU. Holy shit. Well, that ain't good. I don't want to hear that. So, all right. You convinced me. We'll get rid of the MSI. I'll pick up something else. What did I used to have? I used to have a gold man, is it? I had a really good power supply that I was using for many, many, many years. It never went bad. I have to figure out whatever that one was. I'll probably buy another one. Whatever. Anyways, I'll look up. I'll see what it is. Once again, if you have a question, put at JCristina. Benton says, Intel has officially joined the GPU market. Let's see. New video today touting their 16 gigabyte card for $349. The benchmark is 224 gigabyte range. So search for Alex. Yeah, so Intel is great. I mean, Intel is fine. The reason why I use NVIDIA cards is because I do a lot of rendering and NVIDIA does a really good job when it comes to rendering fast. So for me, being a video professional, I kind of stick with some type of video board that's using NVIDIA drivers. They're just simply better for me. I've tried AMD. They just simply are not as good for me. Now, if you're a gamer, AMD might be great. Who knows? You know, do you. But Intel, I don't know. We'll have to see what it looks like. But for now, NVIDIA is just it. It's really, really deeply supported in everything. It's rooted in Linux kernels. It's low-leveled everywhere. So it's just something to think about. That's for me. That's as a video professional. Okay. Radioactive Texan, howdy y'all. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. A little bit late, but better late than never. We're at 1 hour and 8 minutes into it. I'll stay around for another 15 minutes or so. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Put them in there at JCristina. In the meantime, let me just tell you a couple of things that we talked about here. Oh, there was something that, what was that? I told you guys to remind me something that I was going to tell you. What was it? Come on, get it together. Astronauts. This was a question from Shannon. He said, can astronauts use DTC while in space? And The answer to that is yes and no. They can use Starlink from space. They cannot use DTC from space. And they cannot use Starlink, like regular consumer grade stuff from space either. Why is that? Remember, this is for Shannon, right? Remember, the satellites are like this, right? And they're flying by. There's 8,500 of them, right? And they're like this. And they're all pointing at Earth. And they're flying around Earth, right? Well, let's say this is at 320 kilometers. You take like the ISS, International Space, like you take the ISS, they're at like 400 or so, right? Or if an astronaut, like someone is above, anytime you are above these satellites, they're no longer usable. Does that make sense? And the reason being is they're pointing, right? This instance, this point, is pointing to Earth. They're not pointing up. So DTC is not going to work, okay? There's just no way for DTC to work. Regular commercial grade Starlink satellites could work, but they would have to work from planes, let's say. Nothing like close up, not up here in space, okay? But they can work if they are specifically made to do so. Now, what does that mean? So instead of them pointing like this at Earth, right, they can point like this, sideways. Now, all of a sudden, you can get signal that can come in from here, right, above them. It can come in from here and then send it out to a secondary or tertiary or another satellite to then send the data down to Earth. That's exactly what has been going on when you see these space projects, these missions using Starlink on them. That's how it's working. Those are they are mission-made Starlinks. They are pointing specifically to certain satellites, and those satellites have their array or their connection, let's say, turned, twisted, maneuvered. So it's not specifically pointing to Earth, okay? That's how it's done. I hope that helps. I think it was kind of interesting. It's a great question, right? Can an astronaut make a phone call? And the answer is yeah, if you're using a satellite that's further overhead, but they're not, right? They're all in LEO or low Earth orbit. Now, there is some satellites that are sitting at like in GEO at 36,000 kilometers. But at 36,000 kilometers, you end up with about 1,000 milliseconds, 2,000 milliseconds, 1,500 milliseconds. 1,000 milliseconds is a second. You couldn't really have a conversation. It would sound like you're on a walkie-talkie, right? So anyways, I thought that was interesting. I hope that helps. Some people will have that type of question. I thought it was kind of cool. Let me see here. What else did we talk about? We talked about the satellites burning up. So a lot of people did like the Chicken Little, and there was a lot of articles, and that's why I did this video talking about these Starlink satellites vaporizing every single day. There's actually there's either one or two SpaceX Starlink satellites that vaporize every single day without fail. So, we're losing about 60 Starlink satellites maximum currently per day. Now that's going to get larger. There's going to be more. They're estimating about anywhere between 4 and 10 satellites per day eventually. But it's not going to matter. Like I said, once the Starship is online and it can deliver these satellites on orbit by 100 plus at a time, it's kind of game over. It doesn't matter at that point because you're renewing faster than you're losing them, right? So, it is what it is. But it was an interesting article, and I kind of took you through some of the math because people absolutely love the math. And so sometimes I'll do some math so people could kind of understand what's going on. One of the things that people asked me was, how are these satellites affected? Why are they being pulled back to Earth? And at what altitude are they being pulled back to Earth? And what happens if they're higher than in LEO? what is going on at that point. So I put together a chart, and I didn't share it with you guys on the video. So I'll kind of share it with you now because I put it together. I might as well tell you about it, right? I do this all the time. I do work sometimes, like for myself, just as like a brain, like a brain massage type of thing. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'll do math just because. So check this out: 150 to 400 kilometers, right? You have so just so you guys know, you got atmospheric drag. You also have like lunar drag, lunar manipulation, as well as solar like pushing with like solar storms, like you see with the KP index and all that, right? Solar storms with your photon flux and your X-ray flux and all the rest, right? So you got that. So when you're at 150 to 400 kilometers, and that's where SpaceX Starlinks is. They're at like 130 kilometers, right? Somewhere on there, 140 kilometers. The majority of the decay that is being caused, the orbital decay, is happening due to atmospheric drag. So you have very strong atmospheric drag. Lunar activity really doesn't matter. It's negligible because it's so close. The atmospheric drag is so powerful. Once you get between 400 and 800 kilometers, now all of a sudden you have a moderate amount of atmospheric drag. And then the Earth is still dominating when it comes to gravity, but you're getting small amounts of solar as well as lunar and radiation that kind of starts affecting those satellites. When you get to 800 to 1200 kilometers, that's when things get a little bit dicey. That's when the atmospheric drag really drops. Let's call atmospheric drag is weak. And now all of a sudden we start getting into more of the lunar and solar disturbances that actually interfere or, let's say, positively give pressure to those satellites to move them back to Earth. Once you get from the 1200 to 2000, it's very, very weak when it comes to atmospheric drag. And then finally, when you hit 2000 plus up to 35,000 kilometers, atmospheric drag is negligible. There's nothing there. The only thing that you're seeing at that point is the effect of what affects the stability of them is the very light amounts of solar radiation in that push, as well as lunar disturbances. That is it. So what that means is if you have a satellite that has absolutely no propulsion and it's sitting between 150 and 400 kilometers, it's going to be sucked back into the atmosphere and burn up in a very short period of time. Conversely, once you hit that geostationary type of altitude, 36,000 kilometers, for example, it's negligible. There's like no atmospheric drag at all. That's all you're worrying about is lunar activity, which is very little, a little bit of pull here and there, and the solar winds that sometimes give it some pressure. So you can keep a satellite on orbit at that altitude for decades, for centuries. So it's a big disparity between the different altitude heights and how long the EOL or the end of life is for these satellites. And that's why when I was talking today about AST Space Mobile and how they're sitting their satellites at 600 kilometers, whereas SpaceX is having them at 300 kilometers, they are twice as far away. So they're going to use less propulsion to stay in orbit. So where SpaceX Starlink might have an end of life, an EOL of, let's say, 3.5 years at 300 kilometers, well, at 600 kilometers, AST will probably have 5 or 6 years with the propulsion that they have available to them. So these are the type of things. Anyways, I just thought it was interesting. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But that's kind of what goes on. And that's the reason why we see the satellites get sucked in. And that's one of the reasons also why a lot of satellite companies use LEO. Because not only are they closer, you get lower latency, you get faster speeds, but also think of it as a means of rinse and repeat, a means of having something on orbit. And even if you do not have a fail-safe to push it back into the atmosphere to burn up, it will do it automatically for you because of atmospheric drag. So it's a perfect spot to leave something there for a shorter period of time, especially if you're constantly developing new iterations of a technology. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe. Was that a whole bunch of long-winded bullshit or what? I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. Did any of it make sense? I don't think it made sense to me. I don't know. Anyways, you have any questions? Put them in here. Add JCristina. Solar activity would impact launches. No. Let's see. Moving down from that. MSI is garbage. Guess we got that. Ricky Joe, my friend, is moving to St. Augustine. Congratulations. Beautiful, beautiful place. The ISP available is AT&T Fiber and Xfinity and Comcast. Which of them? I freaking hate AT&T. But if the Xfinity by Comcast is actually fiber, I would probably go with Xfinity because I really cannot stand AT&T. But if Xfinity by Comcast is actual copper, whereas cable, then I would still go with AT&T because I'd rather take the fiber. There you go. Mick says, a very disappointing find today about ChatGPT. I gotta laugh. Every time I use the damn thing, I'm disappointed. Anyways, that's for another story. Maybe we'll talk about it. Anyways, let me see. Advanced Voice is still using GPT-4 model. I've been developing new AI project on the OpenAI platform, thinking advanced voice. So yeah, has been updated, yes, on ChatGPT 5. I use ChatGPT, I use Perplexity, I use Grok, I use a lot of LLMs because each one does something different. If I'm working on a piece of code and I'm like, what the frick is going on with this? Why is it so just screwed? When I just get really frustrated and I need code to work, I'll go to Grok. If I tell Grok to think about it for a long period of time, don't answer me for 5 minutes, whatever it takes to really figure out the problem, it usually does a good job when it comes to coding. That said, ChatGPT is a big ball of ass when it comes to coding. It does pretty good for a while, but as soon as you get any deep into code, it will literally round robin shit. It will literally take you from 12 o'clock, it will bring you to 6, back to 9, and then back to 12. And then back to 3, and then 6, and then 9, and 12. It will circle jerk you literally all day long. It is the most frustrating thing absolutely known to man, personally. But, this is the big but, at least ChatGPT is when you're using ChatGPT 5.0 and you're having a conversation with ChatGPT 5.0, it will then dumb down to ChatGPT 4.0 if you run out of the number of requests that you can make. So the conversation doesn't die, you get to keep on talking, but it's a little bit more stupid than it was before. Okay. Grok, on the other hand, pisses me off. And this is something that I've even written into Elon Musk, and I've written into a bunch of them. Not that they give a shit of what I have to say, but I don't like their methodology on trying to make money with Grok. The way they do it is not a good way. What they do with Grok is if you're having a conversation with Grok and then you run out of the instances, the number of times that you can ask them questions, it's like, hey, you're done. F you, pay, or wait 12 hours. It doesn't drop you back to like Grok 3 or Grok 2 or whatever, I'm stupid, Grok. No, it just stops the conversation. And I just don't like that model. It's very abrupt. It doesn't palate well. It doesn't sit well, in my personal opinion, at least with ChatGPT, even though it is a ball of ass in many situations. Not everything. It does a lot of stuff. It does it really well. But I can tell you one thing. If you're an expert at a topic and you speak to ChatGPT about that topic, you will find so many times that it will say things very authoritatively that it's complete bullshit. And if you guys are an expert on any topic and have talked to ChatGPT, you could probably attest to that down below in the chat area. You let me know, because that's what I found. I'm an expert on a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to tech stuff. I'm a system administrator. I've done a lot of different things, right? So I have a lot of knowledge in a lot of different fields. Okay. And when I start talking about some of this stuff and it comes back with stuff that is just wrong, and then I tell it, you're fucking wrong. What are you talking about? Why would you even say that so convincingly? Because if I wasn't an expert in it, I would really believe you. Speaking about ChatGPT. So that's a problem. So I always tell people is be careful when you're using ChatGPT or any of these LLMs, large language models, or any of the AI shit. Just be careful, all right? Because what you get out of them is not always truth. It is like fabrication on some of the stuff. It's almost like feeling. It's a way to fluff you up. You ask them a question about something, it gets an idea of like what you want to hear, and it will tell you that. Just be careful, all right? Just be careful. Anyways, anyone else have a problem with that? With like ChatGPT or any other LLM? Let me know, because I have that all the time. And I use Perplexity for certain things. It really depends. Each one of them they do things better than the other, and then I'll just use that for whatever it is that I'm working on. I've been doing a lot of coding now, obviously, with this damn thing, right? That we see. This mess. There was a lot of code that went into here, a lot of JavaScript and a lot of other nonsense that went into here, CSS and HTML and cron stuff and Perl script and a lot of other crap to make this thing work. Let me see. Let me get back into the comment area after I went on and on and on and on. Mick says, had been updated with the ChatGPT 5. Yes, we got that. Your thumbs up button refuses to let me press it. My thumbs up button refuses to let you press. I wouldn't doubt it. This is from Anne. I can't pronounce your name. Anyways, it says your thumbs up button refuses to let me press it. Press thumbs down. See if it works. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's comical. YouTube has problems sometimes. It's just a joke. Jeffrey, thank you for being here. NASA don't want you to talk to the aliens. That's true. No talking to aliens, Jeffrey. No talking to aliens. Timothy says, has anyone been offered 50% off 24 months if they reactivate an account? Yes, you're going to see a lot of that. And that's going to move on into the holiday months. You're going to see a lot of reactivations. I think that it has to do with the president over there at Starlink. Shotwell, she's very into keeping customers and bringing back customers. And I really love that theory. I love that methodology. I've been a salesperson all my life, along with many other things. But it's so much easier to retain a customer that was a customer prior, or just to keep a customer in comparison to get a new customer. When you get a new customer, it costs you a lot of money. To keep a customer, it doesn't cost you that much. So, and she gets that. I think that Gwen Shotwell is probably, she is perfect for Starlink, in my personal opinion. She is fantastic. I like a lot of stuff that she says, what she does. I think she's great. I really do. And I think a lot of this, I think a lot of that comes from her. Maybe some of it from Elon too, but I think a lot of it comes from her. She's just really, really smart when it comes to working with people. The one thing that I would really like to see SpaceX do with Starlink is build some call centers and do the call centers in the country of origin. When I say origin, where the call is coming from, where the internet is from. Meaning that in the US, you should have like at least 5-6 call centers in the US, let's say, or at least a few in the US. Then let's say if you have, a big presence in, Germany, let's say, you should have a call center in Germany. If you have a big presence in, let's say, Spain, you should have a call center in Spain. This way, you're employing the locals, but then also when you call in, you speak to someone that is speaking your language. Now, I'm not talking about broken language, broken English, or some crazy ass shit. I've been in the industry for many, many years. I can't even tell you how many times I've had to call in to Cisco for a fiber channel that's screwed and get some people out of Bangladesh. I don't know what the frick they're talking about, trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with this. Anyways, so it's to me, it's very important that they do that because number one, like I said, it's really good to increase the people that are there making the money in comparison to sending the business elsewhere. Like, I don't think that we should have call centers in India, for example. There's no reason. My personal opinion. Like when I call T-Mobile and I get someone in India, it kind of pisses me off. Because if you're going to sell service here in the US, you should employ people in the US. Perfect example, India still doesn't have SpaceX Starlink. Do I want to answer? Do I want to listen to a phone call from someone in India? Probably not. They don't even have SpaceX Starlink. So what I'm saying is I really do think that they should make these call centers and stick them in the country of origin. I don't think that's a big deal, but that's one of the other things that Shotwell could do that would be very nice. Right now, there is no call centers at all. There is, but let's say no call centers that you can just simply call into. Everything is through ticket form. Matter of fact, that's why I'm here. That's for a whole nother video. So let me see. Let me get back into here. Mick says, okay, we got that one. The update, we got that. Xfinity is cable internet at 1.2 terabit data cap. Yeah, as soon as you get data caps, Ricky Joe, just screw these people. In 2025, there should be no data caps. There should be no data cap. Okay, if there's a data cap, just get rid of it. Go to someone else. That's just ridiculous. I'm not going to sit there and constantly worry about how much data you use. Oh, we only got 200 left, and then you're going to get screwed for every gigabit after. Just stop. Yeah, anything that has a data cap, get rid of them. I pay $155 here in South in Canada. A little bit pricey, but it is what it is. Grayan Dallin. Let's see. Do you think that Starlink will go direct to consumers or direct to customers for DTC? Rogers here in Canada is charging $10, then ramping it up to $15 after 1 year. I do. Not yet. Right now, it's going to go through Rogers in Canada. It's going to go through T-Mobile in the US. It's going to go through, I don't know, Australia has someone. There's one in Asia, and there are some that SpaceX is going to be piggybacking off their RF, their radio frequency, their spectrum. Okay, but remember, Elon Musk just bought spectrum from EchoStar. Now that he owns his own spectrum, that means that they just need to dial in the phones to the spectrum that he owns, and then he doesn't need anybody anymore. That's why I did a bunch of videos and I was talking about how the big three should be crapping the bed. They should worry about SpaceX Starlink and Elon Musk. They should. And rightfully so. And I'm happy about it because the big three, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, have been screwing us for so many years. They need to be screwed. And I think once everything kind of washes out with SpaceX Starlink, are they going to be the fourth carrier? Kinda, but it's going to be a space carrier. All cell towers will be in space. So it's going to have some negatives to it, but it's going to have some positives. I think that the big three will probably lose 20%, maybe even 30%. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Let me see. Bathroom update. Bathroom's looking good, Peter. Really, really good. I just finished the walk-in closet. I have all burnt wood, beautiful shelving, 14 inch, all the way up to the ceiling. A ton of room for Fabiola. So yeah, we're like right there. We're at like 92% done, right? So just the final touches now. Thank God. I double up questions in one. Enter. Let me see. Grok tells you how it thinks correctly. It's right. Yeah. No. I get it. Yeah. A lot of them, what they'll do is they'll tell you also what they think that you want to hear. Keep that in mind too. You actually have to. If you don't know it, I might do a video on this, how to actually ask LLMs questions to bypass their coddling. Maybe that's what we'll call it. How to bypass AI coddling. Do you like that? Not a lot of people know how to do it, and it's specific language that you use to stop it from coddling you and giving you the truth, even if it doesn't believe you can handle it. Because that's what a lot of these LLMs do. They will literally look and they'll analyze you, and they will not be offensive to you. They will coddle you. They will give you shit that you want to hear and not necessarily the truth, or half truths and all kinds of other stuff. So there is an art to doing it. And that might be a good video. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see. That's why you stick with Google. It tells you 98% of the time. Truth 98% of the time. I don't know, Ricky Joe. Google is a damn hot ass mess. Google is a mess. I've had a lot of arguments with Grok. Often win. Yes, I'm sure you do. If you're an expert at something and you're arguing with Grok or ChatGPT, most of the time you win, because sometimes it comes up with crazy ass stuff. Phonics spelling of ancient aliens. Yes. I'm an alien. Alan Scorpio says. I subscribe to the ChatGPT Pro and found that to be very valuable, even at $200 a month. I'm going to try the equivalent in Grok. Excellent, Mick. You know what? Do me a favor. Let me know how it goes. Since you're doing the test, all right, that helps me out too, so I don't have to. Next time you're on here, let me know how it goes. You did a test already on ChatGPT Pro, the $200 a month. Now you're going to do the Grok. I think Grok was like, what, $30 a month? And then they had the next plan, which was, anyways, whatever. Let me know, okay? I would really like to know where you go with it, okay? Because I don't mind spending money, but I want to make sure that I'm getting what I'm paying for. And some of these are just, whew. Mark says, I often correct Grok when I see something like Bloomberg as a source. Holy shit. Yeah, you can say that 10 more times for sure. Mick, I will say that I started using Codex 2. That comes with ChatGPT Pro, or GPT Pro. And it's an enormous step for the code. Really? Okay. It syncs instantly with GitHub. That's always nice to be able to, especially if you're doing projects and it syncs with GitHub. That makes it a lot easier. But it's kind of easy to sync something. But still, it's cool that it does it. I use ChatGPT, Grok, and Yep. Java Man in the house. Thank you for being here, Java Man. The Black Knight satellite is up there circulating Earth. Might be why the governments don't want us communicating with them. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Elon says there's no aliens. I've learned when very smart people say there's not this or not that, there is. If they say there is this or this that, there's probably not. So yeah, I don't know. Some people believe, some people don't. Debbie in Texas. Amen to local call centers. Absolutely. Speaking of Starlink, I saw the mini dish was marked down 50%. It is marked down 50%. Mick, definitely a good buy right now. John K. Wolf. It's between $20 an hour and $2 an hour for a call center. It's true. And yes, you have to pay more money to bring the call centers in the U.S. Yes, I agree. Maybe they can get some type of tax write-off for doing so. I don't know. But, having a disparity that great is very difficult for any company to nod to. And I get it. It's a problem. So they should find an answer instead of circumventing any kind of answer and just simply sending shit overseas. That's my personal opinion. All right? That's my personal opinion. I want to see the people in the U.S. get the jobs. But if you're in Bangladesh, I don't want your people to not get jobs because your people are not being hired because they're hiring US people. I don't want to see that either, right? That's the way I look at it. Keep your jobs. I don't know. Don't send them overseas. And then, as a government, incentivize people for doing so. Companies are doing so. That's what I mean. I don't know. Some things just seem very easy, maybe because they are, or maybe because I'm a fool. I don't know. Whatever it is, facepalm. Exactly. Just common sense. Yep. This is wrong. Yep. Absolutely wrong thing. What are you doing? Nice, JC. Can't handle the truth. I know. How long has it been since you had a working bathroom? No, the bathroom's working. The bathroom's been working for a long time. Toilet's been working for a long time. The shower I got done first. So, and the tub's always worked. The only thing that, that wasn't working was the vanities, but they're in. So we got water running in there too. So everything, like I said, is the tiles, everything is done. It's like 92% done. So we're good. Verizon announced this week that they're getting AST. Yeah, I did. So today's video was about that. If you didn't watch today's video, definitely take a look at it. I speak about that a lot. AST, Space Mobile. Jeffrey, most of the time getting connected to T-Mobile call center in the Philippines. There you go. Absolutely. Why are we talking to the Philippines when we're talking to T-Mobile in the U.S.? We shouldn't. We should be talking to somebody in the U.S. Whoever. Do you know, I called T-Mobile, this was about 6-7 months ago, and I kind of got pissed with the person because they were not handling the situation properly, and it was something that they were screwed, something was not right. And I was on the phone with them, but I was also in the T-Mobile location, right? The T-Mobile official location where I went and got the phones. I got 3 phones. Anyways, and I was there and they were talking back and forth, and she was being just so belligerent. And I remember saying, you guys should not even have these jobs. All right, this should be a U.S. person that I'm talking to, not someone from the Philippines. And she got so pissed at me. She said, "You guys are lucky to have us." And the guy at T-Mobile, his face just froze, and he's like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be a bad day." It's just awesome. It was awesome because I don't give a shit, As you get older, you just kind of call it as you see it, and that's it. But yeah, this woman in the call center literally said, when she was in the Philippines, "You guys are lucky to have us." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, lucky to have you. You shouldn't even have a job. T-Mobile should have a call center in the U.S., period. Anyways, that's just, it is what it is. But I thought it was funny. I built an AI working bot and issued the GPT. Is that I want to be bold with me? Yes, but restricts kicked. Yeah, it restricts. Yeah, the restrictions kick in and all the rest of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, you can make it as bold as you want if you're writing your own AI, right? Or if you're building your own LLM. But as soon as you use ChatGPT or a GPT derivative thereof, then yes, it gets to be stupid. And you have to really, really plug in some serious prompts to get it to break free of the nasty crap that it does, It's like, I don't want to be coddled. Just tell me the damn truth. Lazy Duke. I've had several UFO observations, and I can say that they are real. There you go. That's from Lazy Duke. He's seen them. I wouldn't doubt it. I tell you what, Fabiola and myself, we were traveling to see my daughter on the other coast of Florida, and I told Mo about this. I don't see Mo. Why is Mo not here? Mo, where are you? We were traveling through this 2-lane road, and it was blackout. It was dark. And we got to this part of the road where there's this huge field. And it was raining off and on. And then finally it kind of cleared up, and we got to this field, and then there was this thing that looked like a Cheeto. It was a triangle, like this, right? And it came in from the field and it went by the front of the car, right? And it would look like a triangle. It looked like a Cheeto, like a triangle. It had like a light or something, some kind of propulsion or something on each one. So there was 3 propulsion things, 3 propulsion lights, I don't know, 3 propulsion somethings in each one of the 3 corners of the Cheeto. And it flew by and then it flew back this way over the field and then it was gone. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And my son was in the back and Fabiola was here and she's like, what the hell was that? I'm like, I don't know. It looked like a flying Cheeto, but it didn't make any noise. And my son saw it. He's like, was that like a drone? I'm like, no, it's not a drone. It was like the size of a bus. It's not a drone. It was literally the size of the studio. It was bigger. It was big, but it looked like a triangle with like 3 propulsion things on it. It was completely silent and flew. So whatever the frick that was, I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of army shit or I don't know. Or maybe it was a UFO. I don't know. But I never seen anything like that. There was no noise. There was no fire. There was no propulsion at all, even though it was flying. There was not even a hum. It was completely silent. So I don't know what the hell it was. And all 3 of us saw it. It's not like just one of us saw it, right? Weird shit. We've been seeing some crazy stuff lately, right? They don't even deny it now. Like, yeah, oh yeah, that's a UFO, and we're going to assign a task force to it. Like, what the frig? What is going on lately? I don't even know. Anyways, so that was that was just like last year, like a few months, like 6 months ago or so. That's not even that long ago. Anyone else have an experience like that? Everyone else seen like it literally looked like a triangle with like 3 dots, and I don't know. Yeah. So fast and silent. That's all I can say. Fast and silent. Whatever the frick it was. Fast and silent. And it looked like a Cheeto. I mean, a triangle like a Dorito. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. Peter says, JC, can you say hello to Fabiola for me? I will definitely do that. I will do that. I'm gonna get off now, guys. Let me see if there's anything else that pops up here. What is this? Dutch Linux says, you see the TR3B UFO. What the hell is a TR3B? Should I look that up? A TR3B UFO. Let me see. What the frick is that? Holy shit. Let me see. Yeah. So, God, yeah, it looks something like this. Hold on. Can I put that on over there? Let me see. Hold on. Well, there's still a few of you guys here. Yeah. Okay. So, do you see this thing? This is kind of what it looked like. It was a triangle like this, but it didn't have this thing like in the center. That one propulsion thing, whatever the hell it is, it just had this light on each one of the corners, and that's it. So it says the TR3B is said to be like nothing we've seen before. Okay, well, whatever the frick that is, I saw that, but it didn't have anything in the middle. So maybe they have some new version. What does it say? It's nuclear powered? To rotate highly pressured mercury to produce plasma? What the frick kind of shit is this thing? All right, I'm going to go down a rabbit's hole, guys. I don't want to do it. But thank you for that, Dutch Linux. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whatever that is. It is what it is. I'll end with this picture here. We're currently having a solar storm going on. I don't know, something's going on. Anyways, guys, let me just say. I appreciate everyone being here. I want to say I appreciate you guys for having the patience with me with this device that's just been, the thorn in my side for the last few weeks. The goal is that we'll be 24/7. So definitely check it out. And if you haven't put it up on your TV, put it up on your TV. Look at it and listen to it. I really like it. I put a lot of time and effort into it. And if there's anything that you want to see in there that you think should be added, let me know, because I will add it. I don't mind coding. I don't mind doing the work. Okay. I just want you guys just to enjoy it. So anyways, I hope you guys have an absolute blessed weekend. Enjoy the family, food, friendship, being able to just hang out with the kids possibly, or maybe even the grandkids. And we'll see you on Monday. And most likely I will not do a video on Monday, because if all goes well, I'll be here live with you for IFT 11. That's exciting. So we will see what ends up happening with that. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot. Many blessings. We'll see you in the next one. Love y'all.